drinking. About to do a little. I'm doing a little something different tonight. I'm gonna basically play the game and what I'm saying, just get on live so y'all can watch me play the game and stuff tonight. If y'all like this kind of content, let me know. You know what I'm saying? Let me know where you coming from. Uh, City, state, Providence, all of that. Country, whatever. Let me know where y'all coming from so I can know where y'all flying in from. But yeah, we about to play the game and you know get it cracking. So let's do it.
Jeez, number 7, TV off. Let's see why the TV is off. All I ever wanted was Black Grand National. Being rational, giving what they ask for. Feel solid, left. But it's not enough, gang. It's not enough. It's not.
It's not enough.
Everybody gotta do it. Everybody gotta do it. Do that. Somebody gotta do it. This is like not like us, his little brother. You got about 2, 3 not like us on this so far. Facts. You survived us on. This is Alpha and Omega. Welcome home. Alpha and Omega. The first and the last. This is not a song. This is a revelation.
Everyone said this is not a song, this is a revelation. How to get a nigga gone.
This is what I want. Hit records that are saying something, that content, but still make my shoulders move. Facts. Vodka's got a weird case. Why is he around? You know what I'm saying? Don't put your life in these weird dudes' hands. See that?
On the beat, ho.
How many more beats like this?
On the beat, ho.
Put him out there. Get other people on.
Turn this TV off. And you want to take activities and don't you get involved.
If you don't like how I'm murdering it out there, then get the hell out of there like J. Cole.
I mean, should I see it? Send them off.
The way he did his voice inflection, he's he's a psychopath. He's a fucking psychopath.
See a weird couple sergeants and lieutenants for the kickbacks. Revolution, they televised. I fell through with the knickknacks.
I love this flow.
What's up, y'all? Where y'all coming in from? Tap in with me. Tap in with me. Where y'all coming from, man?
In this case, Kendrick is saying that the revolution will be televised. And he's bringing it with the Super Bowl.
Yeah, make that. They black out.
I did that.
Yeah, I did that. This is also a victory lap.
I hit a bitch that's hating on a bitch and they both home.
They know the bitch and they both own.
But it's great. Y'all one and the same. I hate on niggas and they both broke. Y'all one and the same.
He's speaking for the culture.
He's preaching right now. Hold on. And somebody gotta do it. Nick feel like he entitled because he really since a kid. I cut my granny off and she don't see it how I see it. I cut my granny off and she don't see it how I see it. What though? Big granny though?
The granny ain't got a chance, ain't nobody got a chance, dog.
Shit, that's real.
Say you bigger than myself, but it's not enough. Okay, beat switch. Yeah, the beat up on that.
What the fuck? Man went from 0 to demon time out of nowhere.
Super Saiyan, and he deserved it.
What's up? Y'all run the lights up.
I was wondering why y'all going crazy and chat saying mustard like that. I was like, yes, I know it's DJ Mustard on the production. Shut the fuck up.
Y'all spoiled that, bro.
Ain't no other king in his rap thing than siblings. Nothing but my children. One shot to disappearance.
Bro, did he just shout out Notorious B.I.G.? Yes, he did.
Something like my children. One shot to disappearance. Hey! With the friends, you know, like those parents in the experiments, padlock around the building. Wow.
playing the Super Bowl, throwing a flag, penalty flag, flags in colors.
If I was actually breaking down bars, you'd be here all fucking day. I promise you that.
Trying to show me the ropes before they hump from a rope.
Being showed is the roast before they hung from a rope.
Dang.
Only good for saving face, senior cosmetics. Only good for saving face, senior cosmetics.
Come on, bro.
TV up, turn this TV off. The city just made it sweet, we can down and get it.
Bars? They just made it sweet. Get that out of there. That's nasty, yeah.
This man is rapping in that pocket. I said, oh.
Walking New Orleans with the etiquette of LA.
You say welcome to New Orleans with the etiquette of LA.
Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up, Chris? This Madden 24.
Same studio do that fucking shit. Turn his TV off? I thought it was turn the TV off. Those ain't turn his TV off. Oh, because you know that means he up.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Cooking. And he cooking.
Bungee cord snapped on this nigga.
Holy shit.
That shit was good as fuck. I get great, dog.
That shit got me hyped.
That might have been my favorite.
That made me want to get the hardest song.
That mustard shit is so fucking funny,
I
bro.
don't know if there's whole shit back, bro.
That's the monster!
That's a certified hit right there.
That was hard though.
Woo! But from college with that bitch.
Every song on this album is like a 10 out of 10.
7 for 7, bro.
Alright, Dodger Blue. Short strap.
What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? What's up? Y'all hit that like button, man. Y'all hit that like button.
There's a lot of rumors floating around the internet and in the news media.
This is big. We are sitting down with one of the criminal defense attorneys of Sean Diddy Combs as the convicted rap mogul awaits sentencing in federal court and a decision on whether he'll actually be released from jail before sentencing. Oh, and by the way, there's also talk that he may get a pardon from the president. Yeah, all this going on. I get the chance to actually discuss what has been happening behind the scenes with Diddy's lawyer, Alexandra Shapiro. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Okay, we're about to do something that we've never done here on Sidebar. For a show that has covered every aspect of Sean Diddy Combs' criminal case, we are about to speak with one of his defense attorneys, Alexandra Shapiro. She is part of his legal team at trial. And the trial, by the way, that ended with Combs acquitted of the most serious charges, racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking. He was convicted of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. They call these the Mann Act violations, moving women and men across state lines for the purposes of commercial sex work. Now, we have talked about Alexandra Shapiro before. She was the attorney, for example, who argued for admitting that video of rape accuser Mia wishing Combs a happy birthday after the alleged assault. She played a key role in this case. And with questions about could Combs' convictions be thrown out, what could he be sentenced to, will he make bail before he's sentenced, can he get a presidential pardon, this feels like a great opportunity to get some insight into all this and certain aspects of the trial, like why didn't they call Christina Quorum? All right, so let me get right into it. I am joined right now by Alexandra Shapiro herself. Thank you so much for taking the time to come here on Sidebar. We really, really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me. Happy to be here.
Yeah, I have a lot of things I want to get into. We will talk about all the latest developments. But first of all, I got to ask, what was it like to be part of a team like this one? Because you know, every argument, every question, it is going to be focused, debated on a national, maybe an international stage. This is a major case. And also, by the way, you were representing somebody, and I'm representing somebody who for the past 2 years has taken quite a hit in the media and wasn't the most popular figure in the last 2 years. So to be representing Sean Combs in this massive trial, what was it like for you?
I mean, it was actually an amazing experience. First of all, the team was fantastic. I mean, I've never worked with so many great lawyers with different talents meshing together. And it was great after I've been working on this case since last September, dealing with the client being just bashed in the media, bashed by a ton of frivolous civil lawsuits that just sort of whipped up the hysteria against him. It was great to finally be able to help him have his day in court, and so the actual witnesses could be heard, and we had a chance to really expose a lot of the truth of what was really behind all of this.
Obviously, this is a win, right? He was acquitted of the most serious charges that he was facing. Did there ever become a time, though, during the course of the trial, maybe in the first several weeks, when you're like, I'm a little nervous, I think he may get convicted of racketeering or sex trafficking, or you were confident throughout the prosecution's case that they just weren't reaching their verdict?
Hey, y'all check out Law and Crime. That's who we listening
about the
to.
trial
Law and Crime, Law
most of
and
the time,
Crime.
and we're confident, but you never can be too confident in a federal criminal trial. I mean, especially in the Southern District of New York, the government almost always wins, and it's a huge challenge and really, really difficult to win. So we were always concerned. There were points where it seemed to be going well, but you can never bank on that.
By the way, talking law, like we do so many times here on Law and Crime Sidebar, there is a reason that Morgan & Morgan, our sponsor, is America's largest injury law firm. They're a firm with over 1,000 attorneys. You know why? Because they win a lot. They have recovered over $25 billion from more than 500,000 clients. In the past few months, client in Florida received $12 million after the insurance company offered just $350,000. Pennsylvania, client was awarded $26 million. That is 40 times the insured's $650,000 offer. Another client in Pennsylvania received $29 million after being offered only $500,000. And even if you think your case isn't worth billions of dollars, why not just start a claim and fight for what you deserve? Morgan & Morgan makes it so simple. You can start a claim from your phone in just 8 clicks. So if you're injured, you can easily start a claim at forthepeople.com/LC sidebar by clicking the link below or scanning the QR code on screen. I just want to understand something about the defense's argument. Was the defense's argument, hey, all the people who testified against Sean Combs were not being truthful, or we're taking their accounts, we're listening to their accounts, and what they're saying just didn't amount to a federal crime? Is it a mixture of both? Just trying to understand what the argument was.
I mean, I think it was a mixture. It depended on the witness, and a lot of the witnesses were telling the truth, but the truth didn't hurt Sean, it helped him. There were some people who were shading the truth. The great thing about it was there was a ton of evidence in written communications that people had created at the time, all these text messages, there were videos, and that really helped us expose the truth, because these were things that had been recorded this is what people were, the girlfriends, others were saying to Sean at the time of the events in question. And so, you know, there was really no way for the witnesses or the government to hide what was in the written documents.
Now, I'll tell you, if you've been following what we've been doing here in Sidebar, Law and Crime, we call balls and strikes. So there were, during the course of the trial, we would say, this was the strength of the prosecution, this was the strength of the defense. There was such effective cross-examination of these key witnesses that we all kind of wondered, you know, was the defense going to call any witnesses? And you really did. And what was that decision? Because I understand there were witnesses who were planning to be called. There was an idea to put forward a defense case. There was a choice to not to do that. Can you talk to us a little bit more about what that strategy was about?
Sure. I mean, you always have to be ready to put on a case. And, you know, at the end of the day, what it comes down to at the end of the government's case is how well do you feel it went in for us? And it's always risky to put on a defense case. People don't realize that, but there's always two sides to everything. And if you put on a witness, and even if it's, you know, 70% good, if the prosecution scores some points, it can really undermine you. And so if you feel like the government's case has gone in really well for you, it can be actually riskier to call any witnesses. People don't necessarily realize that. But at the end of the day, we just made a decision that we thought the case had come in well, and we didn't want to, you know, sort of change the dynamic in a way that could be risky for us.
Was Christina Quorum ever potentially going to be called by the defense? We were all shocked why the government never chose to call her. Since, I don't know, her name came up almost every single day through almost every witness. Was there a plan by the defense to call her?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get into specifics specific
I had to ask.
weapons or
I had
no
to ask.
weapons, but it was more of an overall decision just not to put anyone on and just to use a few pieces of evidence that hadn't come in.
What do you think about the prosecution's choice not to call it? Because I will tell you, we did lunchtime shows, live shows with our audience. I would say 80% of the questions that we got during 7 weeks of testimony was, why is she not being called and will she be called? Were you surprised the prosecution chose not to call who was supposed to be the main alleged co-conspirator?
I mean, I don't think so. I think that she would have been a double-edged sword for them, and they probably didn't want to take the risk. As you saw during the trial, even a number of the witnesses that they had always planned to call, that they did put in, kind of blew up in their faces or had positive things to say about Sean that maybe they weren't anticipating. And it would have been pretty risky for them to put Christina Korn on the stand, I think.
There was so much being said about your client in that trial, obviously in the media, facing a number of different lawsuits. We also wondered whether or not he, and it's his decision alone, whether he wanted to take the stand and give his story, tell his story, give his version of events. Obviously, there are a ton of risks that come with putting a defendant on the stand, but it would be his choice. Was there a conversation about that?
Well, I mean, I can't get into, attorney-client privilege conversations. Obviously, he thought about it, decided not to, and, as I indicated earlier, we thought the case had gone in really well for us, and so we liked where we were, so that was basically the decision.
Now, the big news, a lot of big news came out after the trial, was the firing of Maureen Comey, the lead prosecutor in this case. Now, there's obviously a political angle to it. There are comments that she's made, but I have to ask, you going head to head against her for so many weeks and months and before that, the firing of her, what did you make of that?
I mean, I think it was unfortunate. She's a very well-respected prosecutor. We had good sort of professional relationships with her during the course of the trial, and I don't really think it had anything to do with the trial, but I can't really say anything beyond that. It's just yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough. Let's talk about something we can get into quite a bit. Let's talk bail. Okay, so we did a previous sidebar breaking down the defense's reviewed motion for release, several arguments for why Sean Combs should be released on bail pending sentencing, acquitted of the most serious charges. There's no comparable case of someone who was convicted of the Mann Act alone and not engaging in sex trafficking or prostitution for financial gain, and they would be locked up like this. Talked about the issues plaguing the MDC, how it is dangerous, how he's not a risk of flight, not a danger to the community. But do you think Judge Arun Subramanian is going to be persuaded by your letter, by your motion? Because obviously he specifically highlighted after the verdict your client's violence, how the defense asserted at trial that Combs was violent. Do you think he's going to have a change of opinion now based upon the legal papers?
Well, I think we certainly hope so. And, as we pointed out in the papers, the unfortunate violence that occurred was mostly a really long time ago, other than the one incident in June that Jane testified to, which was kind of unusual. I mean, they had been together for 3 years. There had been no violence, and she essentially started the fight. I'm not excusing anything, but it was kind of a one-off, and I think the government really hadn't put in any evidence of any recent violence. The Intercontinental video, remember, that was almost 10 years ago. He broke up with Cassie in 2018, and in our reply papers yesterday, we submitted a letter from Gina Hyun, who was one of the alleged victims, a different ex-girlfriend. And I think it was a pretty powerful letter about how Sean has changed, how she's not concerned about violence. She thinks he should be released on bail. So we're hoping that that will persuade the judge, given everything else, particularly, as you noted, like the really, really unusual nature of this particular Mann Act conviction and the fact that he's already been in prison, or jail rather, for like 11 months. This case is a one-off to begin with, but begin with, but, we're not aware of any case like this with a Mann Act conviction where anyone's done that much time to begin with, so.
And prosecutors, I'm imagining, have come back or will come back and say, well, listen, look, after the raids on his property, that he engaged, or what they would say, he allegedly engaged in criminal activity and, obviously violence, they say, with Jane, but they said what was in his hotel room when he was picked up in New York. They made allegations of what he was trying to do while he was in the NDC, whether it was using other inmates' phone privileges to have three-way phone calls. That was litigated before trial. What would be your response to say, you made the point that he is a changed person. The violence that was shown during the course of this trial is from years ago, but how would you convince the judge to say, listen, we are being truthful, we are being honest, we are being forthright, that he really is a different human being? Because the judge, again, this was right after the verdict and didn't have an opportunity for a briefing schedule. How can you make the argument that he is different and that he should be trusted?
Well, I think, the point you mentioned about the arrest, unfortunately, Sean has struggled with drug addiction for a long time, and I think one of the good things and positive things that has come out of his incarceration is given him an opportunity, to rehabilitate. He's committed to continuing that. He's committed to a long-term program of therapy and helping with the domestic violence problem that he's had in the past. So, at a certain point, you have to just, maybe it is a leap of faith, but you have to just give a person another chance. And he really is committed to change and to there being a new chapter of service on his part. So, I think we have to hope that the judge will agree with that. And I think we've made a strong case for that.
Do you know when the judge might make a decision on bail?
We don't know.
Okay. If he denies release again,
What's up?
does that give you a sense of what sentencing could be like? Now, to be clear, my understanding is Judge Russo remaining.
Where you tapping in from? Where you tapping in from? What city? What state?
It's not indicative of where I'm leaning towards sentencing. I know there's a pre-sentencing investigation still being conducted or has been conducted. So a lot of factors to consider. But I have to ask about whether this is going to, have an effect on sentencing. Do you believe it's going to have an effect on sentencing? Does it give you a preview of where the judge is lining up? Because my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, you are probably going to be arguing for time served, maybe a minimum of 21 to 27 months. Where do you think the judge is going to go here?
Yeah, I think that you have to take each step at a time, and that the judge is not going to prejudge that. There's a lot more information he needs to get, not only the pre-sentence report, but we're going to make a very fulsome sentencing submission, and he's going to have a much more detailed picture. Even, the trial was about the charges, right? And he doesn't have the full picture of all the factors about Sean's life that he's going to consider. There's going to be a big fight about the sentencing guidelines. We think actually we're going to end up arguing for an even lower guideline range than we had originally believed at the time of the verdict, where we didn't have we had like a couple of hours to try to figure out what to say about bail. So, I hope the judge will grant bail, but I feel confident that even if he doesn't, it doesn't necessarily mean he's not going to sentence Sean to time served. He's going to take everything into account when he gets all the submissions. And, I've got a lot of confidence that the judge is going to be fair and not prejudge the situation.
And you also have this motion for judgment of acquittal, that the Mann Act convictions should be tossed out, Combs be granted at a minimum a new trial. Number of very interesting arguments that are present, and it's basically that there has really never been, as we talked about, a prosecution conviction on a Mann Act like this, that Combs wasn't profiting off of the business. They were all consenting adults that were involved. The jury didn't find that there was any sex trafficking, that this isn't even prostitution per se, it's more voyeurism, that the intent wasn't for people to travel for sex for money, but paid them for their time. They were all having a good time. There's a First Amendment argument that the freak-offs and the hotel nights were performances that were videotaped so people watch them later. It's amateur pornography. There's an argument that he was prejudiced because of all the other evidence that came in to prove RICO or sex trafficking, but would never have come in if this was merely a prosecution for the Mann Act violations. Specifically, we talked about the Intercontinental Hotel footage. But couldn't the counter argument be, if you look at the text messages and voice notes and the travel hotel, the payment documentation, that these charges, the Mann Act charges, could have been proven based on that evidence alone and not anything else about racketeering or sex trafficking?
Well, I think that goes, I don't agree with that. I think that, as we argued in the papers, the government didn't really show that the purpose of the travel was to have sex for money, and that in fact all the testimony and a lot of the other evidence showed that the men were being paid for their time. But even if we were wrong about that one, we have a number of the other arguments that you mentioned that by those records. So for instance, one of our main arguments is that this statute, which used to be called the White Slave Traffic Act, it has this long history, but even with this long history, it's never been applied to a case like this. The term prostitution in a lot of states doesn't include this conduct. Someone's being paid if the person making the payment is paying essentially to observe other people having sex, that's not prostitution. So we've got the First Amendment argument, as you mentioned, and the new trial argument. So all of those arguments, I think, are independent of, the issue you raised, which, so we think we have a really strong motion, and so we're hoping the judge will agree. We'll see.
So just to be clear, I'll list out a couple of things that stood out to me when we were watching the trial. There was apparently this voice message that was played from Combs to Paul, right, one of the reported sex workers. Hit me up when you close. There's a voice message. Hey Jess, I need to get him from Atlanta to here. Let me know. Hit me up. There was a message from, I think, Combs to Christina Corbin from security, bring me 5,000. There's another audio message to Jane, I sent you 15K, baby girl. There was another one to Frank Rodriguez. Frank, make sure that the room is set up right. So in other words, you can look at this and say, and the argument is, even despite all that, it's paying people for their time, it's setting up, let's say, amateur pornography. What makes this not? Because it always seemed that those charges were relatively straightforward, transporting people for the purposes of sex work. You're saying the intent was not sex work. It just so happened, whatever happened, but the intent wasn't there. Just want to clarify that point.
Yeah, so that's one of the arguments. And then the other argument is just that it's more of a pure legal argument that prostitution only includes when you're paying someone to have sex with you. And he wasn't having sex with the males. So that's kind of a totally separate thing, even if you buy the government's argument that these payments were always for sex. And I do want to point out that there's testimony and evidence that there were a number of occasions where the guys didn't end up having sex and they still got paid for their time. There's a bunch of text messages between Sean and people who work for Cowboys for Angels, one of the escort services, where she's making clear that they dot all their I's and cross all their T's and that this isn't sex for money. So that's kind of his mindset. And the crime is transportation with the intent for the person being transported to engage in prostitution. So it's all sort of what's in his head and whether he's believing that he's paying, or arranging the transportation rather, in connection with prostitution. And then you get into sort of what is prostitution, and does it include, paying someone even if you're not the person who's going to have sex with them.
Let's say the motion for judgment of acquittal is not successful. Let's say the bail motion is not successful. And let's say your client is sentenced to a significant prison term, because there is discretion on the part of the judge. There's been a lot of talk in the news about this idea of a presidential pardon. Is the president really considering it? Have there been conversations with his team? Is there anything you can tell us about that?
Well, I don't really know. The trial team's not really involved in any of that. There's a lot of rumors floating around the internet and in the news media, so I can't really speak to it. It would make sense that the president, given his history, would be thinking about it for someone like Sean, but I can't really, I have no personal knowledge about that.
And if there is an unfavorable sentence, I imagine you would immediately appeal this conviction and sentence. What would be some of the arguments that would be made, if you can give us a preview, and why you think they would be successful?
So I think Sean would almost definitely appeal if all of those things happen, which we hope won't. But It would be a lot of the same arguments that are in our post-trial motion that we've been talking about. The First Amendment, the argument about whether this actually was transportation to engage in prostitution, whether he should have, in light of the acquittals, he should get in the alternative a new trial where none of the evidence about the violence and the alleged racketeering would come in. Those would be, the principal arguments, I would imagine.
Yeah, if they didn't have racketeering or sex trafficking, you think they would have actually prosecuted him just for Mann Act violations?
I don't think so. It certainly would have violated Justice Department policy. I mean, the Justice Department policy for the past 75 years has been generally not to prosecute people other than people who are actually running prostitution rings to make money. And then on top of that, in more recent years, the only kinds of cases they've brought have been cases where they're alleging sex trafficking or other serious crimes. And at the beginning of this case, we made a selective that Sean was targeted because of his race, because this, with respect to the Mann Act in particular, because this was so unique. And one of the things they came back with is they said, well, we charged him with RICO and sex trafficking, and then they pointed to other cases involving white men where they had brought these other charges as well as in the Mann Act. So.
I know I have to let you go. Before I do, I just want to ask you one more question because I know all of our viewers will be asking. What happened to victim 3? What happened to victim, I think, 5? There were other people that were supposed to be called by the prosecution, and there was a back and forth where the defense basically said, right, to the prosecution, they're not part of this case anymore. Everybody's been asking, weren't there supposed to be other people that were going to be called by the prosecution and weren't? Is there anything you can tell us about what happened there?
Well, I think one thing that's now public is that Gina was the alleged victim 3, and it's pretty clear she doesn't consider herself a victim. And I imagine, I don't want to speculate, but I think the government, they certainly cut back their case as things went along, and there were probably a lot of witnesses along the way who were pushing back on the government's hoped for narrative and saying, that a lot of it wasn't true. And that's certainly what happened with Gina, I believe.
Well, listen, Alexandra Shapiro, really, really appreciate you taking the time to come on here.
Thanks a lot for having me.
And that's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. And as always, please subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jesse Weber. I'll speak to you next time.
Over the past 120 years, we've fueled our fair share of drives. Each one magical in its own way. Because as long as there are great drives to be had, we will be here to fuel them. Texaco, forever in drive.
What's AI saying about your brand? SEMrush's AI toolkit tracks how AI sees you and the competition, so you can take control of your AI visibility. Impress, explore toolkits and get what you need to grow.
Yo, you live.
Hey, Johnny.
What up with it?
Why am I so saying you police, man?
I don't know why I know they sound like that.
Yeah, man, I mean, no disrespect about that. I be seeing some of the shit you be doing. I'm just wondering, why they keep saying you one time.
I can't tell you what I mean, how they think, bro. I just think I think, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Why you doing all these videos on Big U? You don't think that's like no cop shit, homie?
What's cop about it, bro? You ever seen a cop do that?
You helping the police, homie?
I ain't helping the police do a motherfucking thing. I ain't never get the police done no investigation. What the fuck are you talking about?
Alright, so you telling me the videos ain't helping the police?
Yeah, I ain't never gave up no information to the police about nothing, bro. Everything I talk about is public record. What are you talking about?
So you telling me your videos ain't...
Man, I just answered your question, bro.
I mean, I'm finding that hard to believe, homie, because I actually been through the system.
You ain't gotta believe what I'm telling you. I don't give a fuck what you believe. I ain't giving that police no information.
I mean, you don't gotta get hurt about it, man. I'm just asking.
I'm not hurt about nothing. I don't give a fuck what you talking about. Man, get your buster ass up out of here. Get the fuck what you talking about, man. I ain't never get a police no information, bitch ass. You're talking about, I don't think that's police. Well, it should be this. Shut man, get your buster ass up out. I'm not explaining nothing about nothing. You think I'm the police? Go tell everybody the police. I don't give a fuck what you tell nothing about me. You asking me what another man think about me. Fuck you and other men. That's the thing. You think I give a fuck about their opinion? I don't give a fuck. Yo, you lying.
Yo, 600.
What's up, homie?
Trump or Biden?
Trump.
Oh, hell yeah, brother.
I think we got AI in here, y'all. We got AI person. We got AI.
Yo, you live.
This is Elizabeth Cheryl. How you doing?
What's up, Cheryl?
Yes, I'm listening here for 45, watching the show. What are you doing today?
Working out? Eating watermelon?
Oh, okay, that's good. You know, I'm just gonna sit here and keep watching this show. I'm gonna send you a cash app too, Cheryl, because you're so nice to me. Because you know it's me, Cheryl.
Oh, send that cash app.
It's me, Cheryl.
Okay, it's my back.
All right, bet.
Cheryl.
Yo, you live. What up?
I have a question for you, man.
What's up, man?
So you were driving out, you were squatting, but you wouldn't go to the sauce and see them saying
I don't even know you, my nigga. I don't even know you, nigga. The fuck I'm gonna drive 5 hours to fight a nigga on the phone with him, bro. You know, because I know pimps, nigga. You ain't got no answer. Go call him. So bust your ass out here. Yo, you live.
You wouldn't even go to your own hood to check the thing. You a mark. You be on your line bushes like in California with dad.
You there, bro? Come show me. Come show me. I'm in my hood. Fuck you in your hood. It's my hood. I'm in my hood. You ain't even from LA. Pop up out here and blow your face off. Dead homie. Yo, you live. Oh man, you called again, bro?
Yeah, because you scared.
What am I scared of, bro? What's I just went over there, bro, and y'all started saying it was gentrified. Police sitting in the parking lot, bro. It's police sitting in the gas station, man. What you gonna do over there, bro? Oh man, shut the fuck up. Stop watching the movie the 1990s, bro. Okay.
You wouldn't even out there for the candlelight video.
They don't give a fuck about no candlelight. Fuck you and your candlelight.
They don't come to yours.
Where you coming?
When they down your motherfucking ass.
There ain't nobody down to me. I'm a crip.
No, you ain't no crip, nigga. You ain't no crip. Cause real crip don't do shit. You ain't got no fuck for that.
Man, you's a fan, man. You keep bringing up rap, man. You's a fan, man. Get your butt out of fire.
Yeah.
Yo, you live.
Yo, what's the deal? You put in to be an LAPD officer. I mean, what the fuck is the purpose of even doing that?
What's the purpose of doing what?
Trying to put in and be a police officer.
I put in job applications all the time, bro.
Yeah, well, you found out real quick that gangbanging shit doesn't get you nowhere.
I found that out in 2015 when I retired, bro. What are you talking about?
So you out on YouTube every day talking about.
Man, I can talk about what the fuck I want to talk about. I stopped gangbanging in 2015.
You can look at the car on the whole
Man, I don't give a fuck what you say I look like.
You wouldn't know shit about me. That's the difference between me and you.
Yo, you live.
Hey, what's up, man? My name is Ricky. I'm from Alabama.
Okay. What's up, Ricky?
I'm having sex with my sister.
We get them type of little calls every now and then, you feel me?
Yo, that fight in Miami. Is there any gambling website where you can bet on you?
You know, I don't know. If it is, it won't be there till like a day or two before the fight.
Alright. Well, just make sure you let us all know, you know, because I'm definitely putting a stack on whoever's going to knock you out first time.
Shit, so what you telling me for, bro? You just do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I'm just letting you.
You don't have to tell me, so go ahead and do it. Actually, I don't even give a fuck what you're talking about. Matter of fact, you done anyway. The bus driver supplied it. Yo, you live.
Yo, shout out to you, Chris, man. Hey, man, keep doing your thing, bro. I just wanted to say shout out to you and be so welcome, man.
For sure, bro. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Shit, man. I heard you getting prepared for your next flight, man. How you feeling? You feeling healthy? I see you been doing the water on the thing.
Yeah, I'm
feeling weak. You trying to, what are you trying to do? Trying to get fit? I mean, are you trying something new?
I'm just staying consistent, bro. Doing what I've been doing. You know what I mean? This is my coming out party, man. This my U.S. debut. You know, it's a lot of eyes been watching this fight, man. You feel it's a lot of upside to this, so I'm pulling up so I can show out.
Yeah, I heard that, bro. Man, shout out to that, man. Like I said, bro, I was like, man, he's gonna really go for another fight on August 9th. Like, shit, he getting that money, he raking it in.
Oh, that's for sure. He gonna get that chili.
Yeah, I already know. I said, I already know. Hey, bro, you gonna start your Pokemon?
Man, I need some help, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I'm too busy. I need somebody to do
Come on, Sticks, man. You don't want to hear that, bro.
No, when I say help, I'm talking about...
You don't have the time, huh?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, shit, man. Hopefully we get that COVID line off the motherfucking Jump Street, man. Shit, get that shit going.
Yeah, we
Get them goddamn 600 I am a cop, I'm a rat ass nigga shirt.
Yeah, that shit might be that shit to sell?
Hell, you already got knocked the fuck out.
You can get a sale? So look, this is what you do.
What we gonna do with your fat ass? What you gonna do? Nigga, eat all that watermelon, nigga, you trying to stop her eating fries and sweets and chips and shit, huh?
Well, I was gonna say something else, but it might be disrespectful to you.
Nigga, you don't eat sweets.
I mean, look, the people laugh, and so I'm gonna let you on the phone.
Get a little more for your dollar, huh? You like, shit, I can get more pieces of watermelon if I spend $8 for a whole one.
Oh, so you
trying
think
to do it, nigga? I'm trying to help you shit with me, nigga. Funds is low, nigga. I ain't silly.
I don't know you, bro. Yeah, my funds is low, bro. Can you send me something?
I can see some chili cheese fries and ramen money.
That's it? R6.
Shit, yo, broke ass. Hey, why you up here begging for money?
Why you still on the phone, bro? You ain't got no basis.
I'm trying to get that rat 600.
You got FaceTime? Oh, you wanna joke now? You got FaceTime? You's a buster, nigga. That's all they talk. Hey, yo, you live?
Yeah, let me ask you something, since you a critic.
Hey, so why all you busters keep saying, let you ask me something? Nigga, just ask what you gonna ask, bro. I don't give a fuck about no gang banging, nigga.
I mean, I'm asking.
You still ain't that? Get your buster ass out of here. Yo, you live.
Yo, 600, man, listen, real shit. Why you taking these weirdos, man, but when some realness get on the phone, you hang up, my nigga?
There don't be too many real niggas calls. It's a lot of gay people calls.
Yeah, but you entertaining that, well, fuck them. Listen, bro, I want to ask you. Let me ask you this, man, and then you can hang up. I know you will. Why you gonna let these people know, bro, all your status with the status with old men, bro? They 60 or better, bro.
I don't have no status with nobody, bro.
You disrespecting cat.
Hey, bro, fuck cuz a rat, bro. I don't have no status with that buster, man. I don't give a fuck about them busters, bro.
Okay, we'll cut them out there. Fuck that. 600, you the champ, man. What you do to them niggas who hit you for that $90?
Huh?
What did you do to the niggas that hit you for that $90?
What the hell are you talking about, bro?
I know, man. We ain't gotta go there either.
You can go wherever you want to go, nigga.
Hey man, y'all keep me in the Karma Cafe. Like, subscribe, share, and notification piece. One.
You niggas say I paid my taxes, bro. You can't pay no